When I shot this football spec project, there were a few setups that I knew were either going to look really good or just be a complete waste of time. In the last breakdown, we looked at some of my favorite shots from the project, but there are still quite a few setups that we didn't get around to talking about. So in this video, I'm going to break down some of the more experimental shots, how we got some of the blur effects and the slow shutter shots, a few simple tricks we used throughout the day, and some things which didn't quite go to plan. If you haven't seen the first breakdown, I'll link it up here. For this setup, we completely changed the lighting. Up until this point, we'd been using quite soft lighting, but we'd been looking at the same setup all day, and honestly, we got a bit bored of it. So we thought we'd mix things up a bit. Instead of bouncing the light into the flag, we just used a flex light and put it above the model and let it shine straight down onto him. We kept the gobo hitting the background just to add some texture, but the main source of light was coming from above. It just gave everything a much more contrasty look, and I think it worked really well. One thing I would probably change if I shot this again is I'd diffuse that top light a little bit more. In some of the shots, his forehead is just catching the light quite hard, and you can see it a bit more than I'd like. We also started playing around with this weird bit of plastic roofing material. I literally bought it the day before from a local DIY store because I thought it might look quite interesting in front of the lens. So we clamped it to a stand and started shooting through it. At first, it looked absolutely terrible. Like, it looked really washed out, and we couldn't work out why it looked so hazy and soft. Then about halfway through the shoot, we realized we'd left the protective film on it. So we peeled that off and suddenly it looked way better. For this shot, I only covered part of the frame with it, so half of the image was distorted and half of it was clean. And I actually preferred that look because it felt a bit more controlled than some of the blur filter stuff that I was getting. This scene was also where we started using loads of slow shutter. A lot of people asked how I did that in the last video. On the Nikon ZR, you can actually extend the shutter speed way beyond what you'd normally shoot at. I had to change it in the menus. I actually had to Google that on the shoot because I couldn't quite get it to be slow enough of a shutter because there was a limit. So if you go into the menus, you can extend that. And I think I went to around 1/5. And we weren't doing anything complicated. I was literally just rolling the football towards the model, getting him to do a few touches, focusing on his feet, moving up to his upper body, and just seeing what happened. The reason I use this technique so much is because it instantly makes things feel way more energetic than they actually are. We didn't have loads of space. We weren't filming some huge football sequence, but once you add slow shutter and cut everything together, it feels like there's actually way more going on than there was. The same thing goes for the motion blur filter. Loads of you asked about that as well. It's literally just a cheap K&F filter from Amazon. You put your fingers through the handle, hold it in front of the lens and move it around. That is literally it. The only thing I would say, I think I overdid it. Like, there was some takes where I only waved it around, but I wish I would have waved it around and then like taken it out. So I'd have also got a clean frame as well. So I'd recommend doing that. Just don't overdo it because I couldn't find a clean clip within those frames, which was quite annoying. But honestly, if I'm stuck editing and I feel like something needs a bit more energy, my first thought is normally either slow shutter or the motion blur filter. Those two things have become my go-to tricks recently. The other challenge was the backdrop itself. I knew it wasn't amazing quality going into the shoot, but it was so vibrant that I didn't really care. The solution I made was shooting at T1.5 and just completely throwing it out of focus, so you couldn't really see how bad the texture was. Again, the other thing that really helped this setup was the grade. I started with my LUT, which is linked in the description if you want it. I then added some film emulation in Enhancer on top of it. I also added quite a lot of grain and a small amount of bloom because the image was feeling a bit too clean and contrasty for what I wanted. Another one of my favorite setups from this shoot was this one. The backdrop was super muted, kind of a gray-green color. There wasn't much going on in it, which actually made it really easy to work with because pretty much every shirt stood out against it. We wheeled in a clothes rail just to add a bit more interest. Otherwise, it would have just been a person standing in front of a backdrop. And again, I angled it away from the background just ever so slightly rather than having it completely flat. Same thing I've spoken about before. Anything you can do to separate those elements from the background helps create depth. The camera never moved. I had it on the tripod the whole time. That was the important thing here. The whole idea was that we'd keep the camera locked off and just keep rolling while the models did different things. Picking shirts off the rail, holding footballs, doing kick-ups. Then we'd swap the models and do it all again. And that was the whole point of this shoot. I wasn't trying to leave with one perfect advert. I was trying to leave with as many mini adverts as possible. And because the camera wasn't moving, I knew I could match cut everything together later and try all these different effects and make it feel like time was passing or shirts were changing instantly. It's one of those setups that doesn't feel exciting while you're filming it, but when you get into the edit, you realize you've given yourself so many options. And every time we started running out of ideas, I pull out my iPad. I'd saved loads of like GIF references from Shot Deck, and I'd saved them all on Millernote beforehand, because I always find that ideas disappear like the second you're actually on set, like everything goes out the window. You can spend hours planning something, but once you're actually in the studio and time is ticking, it's amazing how quickly you forget things. And whilst we had that setup built and we had cleared everything off the iPad, we started getting a bit more experimental. I raised the camera quite high on the tripod, put the 21mm on, and got the models to do this like handshake. The 21mm was perfect for this because you get that weird perspective distortion. The person closest to the camera feels absolutely huge and everything just falls away behind them. I also actually stopped down to around f8 because I wanted both models to be in focus and I wanted the shirts behind them to be in focus as well. And we could get away with that with this backdrop because it was actually quite a high quality one. And that's one of the nice things about shooting specs. Like, I encourage everyone to shoot specs because there's no clients there. You can take a few more risks and just see what happens. The other shot I wanted was a wider shot of both the models together. The problem here was I didn't have enough of a backdrop, or at least not enough of the backdrop that I was happily showing. But luckily the studio had this grey sheet that we could throw down, which ended up working much better. And where that still wasn't enough, that's when I started extending the backdrop and the floor in Photoshop. I took it into Photoshop, roughly drew around the bits I didn't want, and used generative fill to extend the backdrop and the floor. It took about 2 minutes. I was trying so hard to avoid doing anything like this whilst I was on set, hence why I shot it vertically, because obviously if I shot it horizontally, we'd have to have done this for every single shot basically. But I only did it for one shot and I just really wanted this like super wide shot, and I just wanted to test it as well to see if my Photoshop skills are still up to scratch. I mean, it's not really skills because AI is doing it, but you know what I mean. One thing I don't think I mentioned in my last breakdown was why everything was shot in vertical. And honestly, it was mainly because I wanted to focus on one format for once. Most of my client projects end up needing widescreen, square, vertical, crop versions, all these different ratios, and they just want everything. Because this was my own project, I just wanted to focus on vertical and make every frame work just within that one format. But it also meant we didn't need massive backdrops, loads of props, a huge studio space. We could just focus on smaller details and make every frame feel a bit more considered. Hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. Let me know which setup was your favorite. And I'm also thinking of doing like a editing / color grading breakdown like these cinematography ones. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to see those. But until then, I will see you in the next one.